Hello students, I welcome you for today's session. Well students, in the previous session, let's do a quick recap. In the previous session, we did play, if you all remember, Fish That Laughed, okay? And I hope you have completed your notes, and I hope that you enjoyed the play that day. Okay, now today, in today's session, we are going to start with your Unit 5, and I'm going to start with section A. Okay, and section A, the first one, we have a poem that is House with the Grey Gate. It's a very interesting poem, students. It's about old age people who eagerly keep waiting for their children or for their grandchildren to come and meet them. Okay, so that is basically the theme of the poem. So before we begin, I would like all of you to quickly grab onto your books and turn over to page 90. That is where on this page the poem is. Okay. So before we begin the poem, there are a few questions. Where do your grandparents stay? So you need to answer these questions yourself. Whether they stay with you or whether they stay in some other place, in a village perhaps. How often do you visit them? How do you spend time with them? So this is what the whole theme of the poem is. Okay, so I hope you are ready with your books on page 90. Let's begin with the poem. In my street there is a white house with a little grey gate. This is slightly off hinge and always open. Now this particular phrase, students, slightly off one hinge. Now hinge here, that means door bolt or the bolt of the gate. Now hinge, students, hinge का मतलब होता है, if you look at your door, the room where you're sitting right now, अगर आप you have a door around you, if you look at the door, usually door में 3 bolts होते हैं जो उस door को hold on करते हैं. 3 होते हैं, कभी कभी 2 भी होते हैं. Okay, so that holds the door straight up and it so that it's easy for us to open and close it and at the same time lock it, right? But in this case, the poet, now the name of the poet, our poet is Tabish Khair. Okay, so Tabish Khair says that this gate is a very old one, इसलिए उसका एक हिंज जो है, एक बोल्ट जो है निकला हुआ है, इसलिए वो थोड़ा सा हमेशा खुला रहता है, बिकॉज उसकी वजह से वो गेट इम्बैलेंस हो जाता है, isn't it? So yes, so that is what this means, slightly off one hinge and always open. An old woman sits on its porch and knits. पोर्च का मतलब होता है, स्टूडेंट्स, अ लिटिल ओपन कवर्ड एरिया, जबकि घर के बाहर वाला एरिया है थोड़ा सा कवर्ड हो, जहाँ पे यूजुअली ओल्ड एज पीपल या शाम को बच्चे खेलते हैं. दैट इज़ कॉल्ड द पोर्च. ओके, इट्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ द हाउस. नाउ लुकिंग अप व्हेन द गेट क्रीक्स. अब यहाँ पे क्रीक का मतलब होता है द साउंड दैट द गेट मेक्स, क्योंकि क्रीक विद एज और विद द विंड. नाउ यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड, जो गेट है यहाँ पे 2 रीज़न दी हुई हैं कि गेट क्यों क्रीक करता है. वन रीज़न इज़ क्योंकि एज की वजह से. इसका मतलब ये है कि जो गेट है वो बहुत पुराना बना हुआ है, ठीक है, इसकी वजह से उसकी आवाज़ आती है, क्रीकिंग आवाज़. या फिर हवा की वजह से, बिकॉज ऑफ द विंड, बिकॉज द गेट इज़ अ लिटिल ब्रोकन, इट इज़ इम्बैलेंस्ड. सो या तो जब क्योंकि वो पुराना है इसकी वजह से उसकी आवाज़ आ रही है, या फिर जब हवा चलती है तब उसकी आवाज़ आएगी. एक्सपेक्टिंग समवन दो नो वन कम्स नॉर हैज़ कम फॉर ईयर्स. सो ये जो ओल्ड वुमेन है वहाँ पे बैठी है पोर्च में, आंगन में, वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है, जब भी हल्की सी गेट की आवाज़ आती है वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है कि कोई ना कोई उनको मिलने आ रहा है. यस, दो बहुत साल हो चुके हैं, कोई भी उनको मिलने नहीं आया है. एन ओल्ड मैन समटाइम्स टाइडीज अप द फेडेड गार्डन. सो वहाँ पे एक ओल्ड मैन भी है घर में, ठीक है, और वो क्या कर रहे हैं, वो जो उनका छोटा सा गार्डन बना हुआ है उसको उसकी प्रूनिंग कर रहे हैं. प्रूनिंग, स्टूडेंट्स, उसका मतलब होता है टू कट और टू कट द लीव्स and to make them in the shape which are overgrown. Okay, where shrubbery का मतलब होता है small area covered with small plants. Okay, so वो जो छोटा सा उनका गार्डन या श्रबरी बनी हुई है उसे वो थोड़ी सी शेप में लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. रिफ्यूजिंग टू बी वीडेड आउट. सो कुछ प्लांट्स ऐसे हैं जो रिक्वायर्ड नहीं हैं. वीड्स, स्टूडेंट्स, आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड, वीड्स जो हैं वो ग्रास के बीच में ग्रो करते हैं. दे आर काइंड ऑफ येलो एंड वो बेसिकली ग्रास को या प्लांट्स को ख़राब कर देते हैं. एंड फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम हमें उनको निकालना पड़ता है एंड इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू पुल देम आउट बिकॉज वो बहुत बुरी तरह से प्लांट्स में टैंगल हो जाते हैं. ओके, now moving on to the next paragraph. So I hope the first paragraph is clear for you. So in the first paragraph हमने क्या पढ़ा है, that yes, there is a small old house and in the house has a grey gate and there's an old lady who sits in the porch. She keeps waiting and the gate keeps making noise, and when the gate makes the noise, so she keeps waiting that someone might come to see them or to meet them. And the old man is there who keeps from time to time he keeps tidying up the garden. Now moving on to the next paragraph and the last paragraph. Of course, it's a very short poem. Okay, ever since I moved here I have seen this little white house. So the poet says, Tabish Khair says that जब से हम यहाँ पे इस नेबरहुड में रहने आए हैं तब से मैं इस लिटिल वाइट हाउस को देखती आ रही हूँ. With the old man and the old woman and an old pattern of life. So he says, Tabish Khair says that yes, the old man and the old woman, both of them, I've been seeing only both of them, इन दोनों को ही देखता आ रहा हूँ. एंड दे हैव अ वेरी ओल्ड पैटर्न ऑफ लाइफ. दैट मीन्स देयर लिविंग स्टाइल इज़ वेरी ओल्ड, स्टिल द सेम. रिफ्यूजिंग टू बी वीडेड आउट. यहाँ पे वीडेड आउट का मतलब होता है, आई टोल्ड यू इन द प्रीवियस पैराग्राफ, वीड का मतलब होता है इट इज़ अ काइंड ऑफ ग्रास, आई मीन इट इज़ अ काइंड ऑफ creeper that grows within the plants and destroys it. But here the weeded out word is being used for the old woman and the old man. Why? Because they don't wish to change their lifestyle, though their surrounding has changed. कैसे change होगी उनकी surrounding? From this skyscraping street. Skyscraping street का मतलब होता है that the street is filled with tall buildings and is basically a modern city. So the old man and the old woman are not ready to change their lifestyle. They're not ready to change their house. They wish to stay there in the same way, and they're not ready to adapt to the changes. Where two people had grown roots. Now इन दोनों ने अपनी फैमिली यहाँ पे स्टार्ट की थी. दे हैड देयर किड्स, नाउ दे माइट बी हैविंग देयर ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन. सो दैट इज़ द रीज़न वाई दे आर नॉट रेडी टू गो अवे फ्रॉम हियर. हैड ग्रोन रूट्स का मतलब यहाँ पे होता है स्टेड फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम. वंस स्कैटर्ड सीड्स. सो हियर once scattered seeds, this again has a deep meaning. Scattered seeds का मतलब होता है again that they had their children and they nurtured their family. Nurtured their family का मतलब they look after their family. They saw their children growing in the same house, in the same, playing in the same porch. Okay, so scattered seeds का मतलब होता है their children जो scatter हो चुके हैं, मतलब अभी वो यहाँ से छोड़ के कहीं और जाके रह रहे हैं. And now with the hope stubborn as weeds, and now they are full of hope and they are stubborn also. Now usually students, what happen is when people grow old, for example your grandparents, they are not ready to change. It is because they are bit scared to change their routine. They are comfortable in their old routine, so that makes them a little stubborn. ठीक है, वो थोड़ा सा इम्पेशेंट होते हैं बिकॉज वो नहीं चाहते कि उनकी रूटीन चेंज हो. एंड जो भी उनको रूटीन चेंज करने के लिए कहते हैं, सो दे गेट अ लिटिल इरिटेटेड. सो दिस इज़ व्हाट इट मीन्स दैट दे आर स्टबर्न एज वीड्स. जैसे वीड्स को प्लांट्स में से निकालना मुश्किल होता है, उसी तरह ओल्ड एज लोगों को उनकी हैबिट्स उनकी चेंज करना इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट. नाउ स्टिल पियर थ्रू. पियर थ्रू का मतलब होता है लुक थ्रू. curtained windows when the gate creaks. So आज भी दो इतने साल हो चुके हैं, कोई भी उनसे मिलने नहीं आया है, बट स्टिल दे फील कि यस, अभी भी जब भी गेट की आवाज़ आती है तो वो पर्दा हटा के देखते हैं कि शायद उनके घर में कोई आया हो. Okay, so this is about the poem, students. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you understood it. And if there's anything that you've not understood, please listen to the same recording once again. Okay, you'll be able to make out the sense of the poem. It's a very simple poem. So it is written by Tabish Khair, as I told you, and Tabish Khair on page 91, it's written about him. So he is basically an Indian English author who lives in Denmark. He was born in Ranchi and grew up in his hometown Gaya. He has received the All India Poetry Prize for some of his poems. And now attached with this poem, students, we have the word meanings. Okay, your question answers and the back exercise, as you can see on page 91. Okay, and there is one more exercise on page 92. Now I'll show you the notes. This back exercise you need to solve only in your books, okay, on page 91 and page 92. And there are some extra word meanings. I'll just show you that. Yes, students, so these are your notes. Okay, there are some extra word meanings from the poem which I have noted down here, and you need to copy these also in your copies. And then we have the question answers, okay, which you will be receiving in the file, and you have to complete these question answers in your copies. And towards end of the question answers, question 5 is solved in your book on page 91 that I have showed you. Now there is an activity, students, in this along with the chapter. Activity ये है that you have to use adjectives and describe about your grandparents or any old age person in your neighborhood, okay, in about 5 to 8 lines. And I have given you some adjectives to make it easier for you, that is gentle natured, kind hearted, God fearing, healthy, wrinkled face or wrinkled skin आप लिख सकते हो, warm smile, caring, elderly, calm and vulnerable. Vulnerable का मतलब होता है when people are very wise, okay, and they take decisions very wisely. They're very patient basically. So these are the adjectives. You can use these adjectives, and I want you to write 5 to 8 lines about any old age person, or you can write about any one of your grandparents as well. Okay, students, so this is end of the session. Now in the next session we'll be picking up your grammar portion. So the chapters are over. Now will be for your this session. Now we'll be picking up your for the month of August. So in the further your sessions will be only focusing on your grammar modules now. Grammar module, okay, grammar and writing portion. Okay, students, so till then, now please keep your copies updated, and we'll meet up in the next session. Till then, all of you stay safe and be healthy.